So I haven't done this in a while, but let's take a look at the SLS games that happened recently. I'm just going to go through a little bit as into what went right, what went wrong for some of these teams, and then we kind of break down, try to take away any learning points that we can from these games, and then we move forward, and then let's take a look at the content. So I'm going to start off by doing these first semifinals, the Sovereign versus Impunity, and that is going to be, in my honest opinion, I think it was a disaster from the draft from Sovereign side against Impunity, and there were a lot of things that went wrong, and I think a very large part of it was in the draft itself. Okay, so let's kind of preface this. Let's kind of preface this by looking at what's in 7.14, which is the patch that they played on. What's very popular now is to play these double tank compositions, but neither team seems to be really going for that in these games. So let's try to break it down a little bit further in terms of what their team identity is. So Impunity, what they have been doing is they've played a lot of shenanigans in the top and mid lane, and then they play a scaling shell, they pick the Jinx AD carry, they pick the Caitlyn AD carry, and then say, okay, let's reach the late game, and in order for us to get there, we play these very interesting off-meta champions in the top and mid lane, sometimes in the jungle as well, and we try to surprise our opponents and perhaps slow down their aggression. And okay, it's 30 minutes, scaling point has been hit, the Jinx has hit the 3-item spike, and then the Jinx takes over the game from there. So SVR, they saw their quarterfinals game against Impunity, and they said that okay, this is something that they might want to go for. So perhaps they're trying to beef up and go for some scaling options of their own, which seems to be the case over here. But the only problem is that if you want to go for a scaling composition, you have to make sure that you do outscale your opponents at that point of time in the game. So what happens over here is that both compositions, I think it's fair to see why SVR thought they had the scaling advantage against IMP in this case, but the fact is, what you end up with is a lot of utility, and mage versus mage. I guess Jace kind of functions like a mage in this case. He spikes very hard at about 16 minutes, then after it kind of falls off, and then when he gets his third item, fourth item, he functions like a secondary AD carry, which allows for very easy itemization for SVR because they can just buy armor against the Jace as well as the Jinx. Whereas for SVR, they had the Victor, they had the Tristan, so the game is kind of even in that case. I would still give it slightly to IMP because of the strengths of the Jinx as well as the Sejuani in those stages of the game. But Maokai Sejuani kind of the same thing. Scaling advantage with the Sejuani, Tristana, Jinx, both of them kind of the same champion. You start up a team fight, you pick somebody off to get a reset. Jinx slightly favorite because she can do more AoE damage. And then the support is Jenna and Lulu. Both of these two champions kind of the same in the later stages of the game. I think mid game Lulu does a little bit more, and I think Lulu is better at shutting down the Kha'Zix in this case. Whereas the Jenna, she just lets the team kite very well. So you're gonna see a lot of poking and prodding in the later stages team fights. Okay, so let's talk about junglers in this case. Warwick against Kha'Zix. Scaling advantage, I think definitely over the Warwick. So everything has been even more or less, like just slightly in the favor of Impunity across the board, except for this Warwick pick, where we see the advantage in the favor of SVR, because Warwick does have a very strong team fighting presence later on if he cannot get bursted down. And then the Victor in this case against the Jace, I guess they're kind of similar, but there's one very big difference here, is that Jace has got very long range poke. And in this kind of situations where neither team is going to be split pushing very heavily in the side lanes, there's going to be a lot of these 5 versus 5 squares around the objective areas, and the team that with the superior poke will have the advantage in this kind of scenario. So although Jace, yes, he does have a lower damage output against Victor, he does have a longer range though, so he can just use the EQ Blast, and if the opponents do have an Ocean Drake, or if there is an Ocean Drake on the side of Impunity, they can get advantages out of that. So, but either way, this is not a loss in the draft for either team, and we have to take a look at how Sovereign approaches this game and what options and tools they have to close it out. So double tank, effectively, I guess Warwick can kind of function like a second tank in this case, but it's a very diluted kind of like game plan from the side of Sovereign, and Impunity going to this one as well. I guess both teams just want to say, okay, let's scale it up to the later stages of the game, we take the team fight, and then from Sovereign's point of view, they might be thinking, okay, we have the better players over here, so let's try to win the game. When I first saw this game, I was like, well, okay, they're putting Shinsekai on the tank. That's kind of a meme over there. So some IDs you have to look at it and just respect it. Okay, some players are very known on assassins, and you want to put them on assassins. And the top lane is kind of the same thing. You see Shinsekai's name. You want to put him on the likes of Camille, something that he can really carry against your opponents. And they go for the Maokai over there. They have the Tristana, they have the Lulu. It's a pretty good setup. to hold the fort in a certain scenario. So you have the Maokai does the anti-dive together with Lulu. The Tristana does a pretty decent job holding the fort as well. You could pair it together with Victor, and then even if it's 4 versus 5, they have the Sejuani. It's still very difficult for them to engage in because of the amount of holding power that you guys have and punishing power should your opponents decide to engage onto you, and especially because they showed the Janna earlier, that means they aren't going for the likes of something like Rakan or Alistar or Leona that can really force engages that can end up in situations where you have very little counterplay if you don't have a QSS or if your support doesn't find the kills in that scenario. So they went for this 3 champions first. What I would have done is go for a carry top laner, go for the Gnar, go for the Camille later on, and then let them say, okay, you're playing that against the Sejuani, you can split push with Sejuani, go for the Jax or something like that. In terms of engage, they don't really have the best form of engagement. In this case, if you have a split pusher, you can just let the split pusher take over the game. Camille is definitely the best pick over here because it gives you priority to use your split pushing advantage to rotate back into the mid lane and do things as well, should the rest of the team need some assistance from the side lane. And then the Victor over here, I think mid lane is kind of like you just want to pick the pushing lane. So you just want to default to stuff like Syndra, Galio. Galio is a very strong champion right now. I think it combos very well with Tristana. If they want to go for the Fnatic style of play, where they play very strongly to the side lanes, and then they have these very insane setups where Tristana jumps in, and then you just have to combo in around her. But I think they just want to play very orthodox and say, okay, we'll match you in the lane, we'll match you in the team fights, and then we see how that goes. So on the side of Impunity, I think this is just what they have been drafting the entire tournament, and a lot of it is restricted to what the players can play. So I don't think there can be much changed over here. Kha'Zix Janna, you show the jungler early. Kha'Zix is kind of out of favor recently, and your opponent goes for Maokai early on. I'm not a favor of going for Janna and then Kha'Zix in this kind of scenarios, because if you go for Kha'Zix over here, I'm not sure what Zenkazor's champion pool is now. I haven't really been following the Singaporean scene in general, but you want to be picking something that you can pair up with a pushing mid laner, you pair up with a bully bot lane, and then you just take control split map of your opponent and then you play to one side of the map. Picking the Sejuani is very consistent there as well, because you play something that is just very tanky, is not very easy to dive, and can hold the fort 1v2 in the top lane. So they go for the Kha'Zix here, but together the Janna, it's kind of like not really a fan of it. If they went for something like, okay, let's just play the Zyra, pick up the Karma, pick up the Lulu for themselves, and then go for the Kha'Zix, then I would think that that's a lot more coherent. Ban wise, I think this is something that's a little bit difficult to look at. I mean, they ban. I'm not sure why they banned the Quinn so early, because that's something you only want to ban the second phase if you're really afraid of getting cheesed in the later stages. And Elise is something that Ice Destiny doesn't play, so that's one of SVR's weaknesses. You don't play Elise. It's the best. It's just got such sick setups with things like Renekton. And yeah, speaking of Renekton, I think SVR picking up Renekton here would have been just so good. Picking up the Renekton here would have been so good. It has an insane bully pressure against the Sejuani. I think he can 1v2. In certain situations against Sejuani and Kha'Zix, I mean, if you get locked down in the isolated position, you're still dead. But you will be able to push in the lane and get in a lot of pressure. And then in the case, you might end up with 2 pushing lanes because you have Lulu Tristana, then you have a Maokai that can farm very easily and then give you very strong setups at the later stages of the game. Renekton doesn't excel against Janna, I guess, but if you just play him to split push, that's completely fine as well. Go for some good looking build, and the split push is kind of what they wanted over here. It will give them a much clearer win condition to differentiate themselves from the opponent instead of saying, okay, we play a scaling team comp, we play a scaling team comp, I'll give you 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 gold, it doesn't matter. 40 minutes, we take one team fight, whoever takes the team fight better. It feels a little bit coin flippy, especially because I know that a lot of these teams, they aren't very well drilled in their team fighting, they don't really understand team fighting very cleanly, very well, and it's just saying, okay, I hope our opponents make more mistakes than us, if we try to catch that out and we punish them. It definitely works at the lower stages, and this might just be complacency from Sovereign's side. But by Kha'Zix over here, I just feel that maybe going for that tank jungler would have been slightly better for them. Just put more meat in front of their opponents. I mean, the opponents they have, you pick this up, you pick up the Janna, your opponent they go, you know that you show Janna Kha'Zix, they're gonna go for Lulu, and then you have the pushing lane. And later in team fights as well, the threat of the polymorph is just going to be so difficult for the Kha'Zix to try and do things. Okay, so What would I have picked here if I was in Punity? You want to show a jungle early. I guess it's Gragas. But Zykas doesn't play Gragas. I mean, it's the same thing as well. If he just goes like, if they just pick up the Sejuani first, flex the top jungle, then they pick up a Nocturne later on, which is something that's in his wheelhouse. I could see that happening as well. Then they last pick options, they flex things two ways, and then you suddenly say, okay, race side advantage, you can last pick for top lane, in this case top slash jungle, and then you can have this win condition, say, okay, Nocturne's gonna split push us to victory, and then you have a stronger late game 100% now. Because not only do we have a very strong team fighting, and then you can't really engage on the Jinx in this kind of scenarios unless you really catch out position with some very sick flank, which shouldn't be happening if they do their warding drills and stuff like that properly. Then they win the team fights, they win the split push, and then your opponents get outdrafted. I guess Kazakhs, you don't really want to be split push. It's not very effective. Not as effective as an Nocturne. I guess, let me think about it. Kazakhs taking a side lane, split pushing that in. He's gonna lose the victory. He's gonna lose to. Yeah, he can't really 1v1 people in the lanes itself. I mean, the jungle it is possible with minions around. That's a different story. And like 3 items, 4 items in, I actually think the victory just one shots him. Okay, so let's get into the game proper itself. Skip forward. Okay, I always want to take a look at level 1 because level 1 to me is something that's very important. What's the setup going to be like? And where the jungle pressure is going to be allocated. Like, if you pick Janna, right? If you pick Janna, it's saying that, okay, bot lane, we are self-sustainable. We don't really have to come bot. If your jungler is never going to show his face ever at bot lane, hang on. Let me just check if I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. That's great. So if you go for Janna in this case, probably the Kazakhs, the only thing you can do if you visit bot lane is to kind of relieve pressure for them. And you're wasting all of their dueling potential. Then they pick Kazakhs with bot lane that's getting pushed in. I guess with the Jace, they do get a pushing lane in the mid lane, and I guess maybe SVR should have banded out as well, considering from what I heard, Heavenix, that's kind of his main champion, and you remove the comfort away from him, band it out, and then you can go for something else instead. So Kazakhs are the consequent focus. I guess Kazakhs is just gonna play around jungle, mid jungle, and they're double 80. Warwick's gonna pick up an early Tabais. Victor, I actually think it's just so good if he picks up Tabais over here. The entire team becomes 80 damage. Sejuani, the rework Sejuani does a lot of 80 damage as well. So Ninja Tabais here is such an efficient item. Not sure if they got that later on. I think it looks like they hit the fast forward button. Let's see. Okay, potting. Kazakhs does best when you have some CC to go alongside it. And Jace has got very strong burst. And if Arcalic. Okay, I guess this is where the genius of the Warwick pick comes in. Like, even if your mid lane gets pushed in, Kazakhs can't really outduel Warwick in his own jungle. So that's the one strength of Warwick being picked up in this phase. Other than that, I feel that it's a very odd pickup. I mean, I can see what the idea behind it is. Okay, this is a tank matchup, people want to fight one big round, they go in, and then the Warwick stops them from going out. So once all the CC is down, the Warwick engages, and they have this super difficult to deal with champion that's just sustaining up through the team fight and locking people down. But that's not what IMP's team comp is. It's not a double tank comp. They went for Kazakhs, they went for Jace. There's a lot of bursts going to be coming through. I guess Warwick loses effectiveness in that quite a fair bit. I mean, he still will do more than the Kazakhs in this game. Actually, come to think of it, it's about the same. Like, the Lulu makes it very difficult for the Kazakhs to play, and then similarly Janna on the other side just makes it very difficult for the Warwick to really be effective. Like, all I can really do is just slash in the Sejuani and hit the Sejuani in team fights. Okay, Zankosaur, wait, how did he get in here? Hang on, I'm just gonna rewind this. I want to see the jungle part. Okay, so they're just basically exchanging sides of the jungle. They're splitting the map, at this point of time, Infinity they pressure bottom, but because of Janna, so you just pick Janna even if the Kha'Zix comes out at this point of time, you really don't do anything. I mean, you move forward, you hit them with the W, the tornado. The tornado's even if it does connect, like Maxi has to jump, Lulu has the W, and it's a very easy escape for the SVR bot lane. He's actually just gonna go for jumping over here. Huh, interesting. He clears his own jungle, does the crocs. I mean, what people usually do, right, is that they would go for Raptors raid blue, you do the crab, then you head down to the crocs. See if there's an opportunity, bot recall, and then do Raptors wolves gromp, and then go bot lane again. That's if they're playing a very bot focused jungle party. But in this case, Zankazor, I just guess he wants to farm it out with his opponent. That's why he went for the full clear, then went for the Crocs anyway because he knew that was free. And now that gives him a slight lead over the Warwick, I think. Because he got the Crocs, he got the Raptors, and then now he's taking his own jungle camps as well. But the catch-up mechanic reduces a lot of these early parting advantages, so you can kind of cheese out your opponent. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that, like, I thought SVR, at least their early game, considering how strong their players are, would have been able to recognize the potential of these kind of things happening and perhaps set up a much more defensive boarding position. Because you know that the Jace is pushing into mid lane, and then there's a Kha'Zix on the opponent's side. You kind of want to be on defense early. Or do they need to? Let me think about it. I mean, if there's any other jungler, you generally want to be wary of the Kha'Zix and Blades, but because you're playing Warwick, so even if he does find you in your own jungle, you can kind of out-duel him. Or, no, it's not kind of, you out-duel him, that's it. The 1v1 strength of Warwick's very strong. I mean, I guess in general it's still good to have the defensive wards placed in front of your jungle entrances. They are doing that as a ping one brush over there. Oh, this is why I just okay. So now Warwick's playing for bot side focus, which is what he should be doing, because that's how SVR can potentially create leads and take control of the game. Focus bot side, get the bot in turret, mix with the fact that there's a Lulu against Janna, then that's a winning lane for you, and try to take an advantage so you get some form of goal lead, which lets you take map control. And once you have the map control, it ends up in a situation where you can force your opponents to move in and engage on you. Oh, this is actually very interesting. I mean, if you want to go for such a plan, right, then I just needed to get the warding smite first. I have honestly no idea how Warwick builds, but if you go for Tiamat and you're saying I'm just going to farm completely, and then this bot side control that he would usually get by splitting map with his opponent is going to not be there because he can't go and place the walls. Okay, so Kha'Zix is top side or where Kha'Zix is going to be. There's BF for both Tristana as well as Jinx right now. Not sure what kind of build next he's going to go for. I mean, I hope he doesn't go for the Reckless kind of like the Ruin King, very dueling style. If you have Shen, actually, hang on. I need to wrap my thoughts around this a little. Actually, they went coin on Lulu as well. Interesting. I honestly have no idea how strong coin is right now. A lot of people are telling me, oh, so strong. Well, I think Lulu should be played as a bully lane. Should be played as a bully matchup. You just buy the Spellpiece Edge and then you go in there, use on the Jinx out, and then you're up against the Lulu, you pop the shield, you win the trades, or you just shoot yourself, eat the trade, and then push in the way. Slowing the dragon over here. So I think SA's itemization is I mean like I said, I have no idea how well it builds, but if they wanted to play to their bot lane advantage, the fact that they have the Lulu to Janna matchup, which is the counter pick that they wanted, the makers of that have the jungler build to enforce that matchup. Like a lot of people, when they play jungle and they go into competitive game, from solo queue, the thing that they don't realize is that your job as jungler in a competitive game is to protect leads. It's not necessarily to create them. Sometimes yes, you have to create them, but a lot of times it's like okay, the draft finishes, you have the winning matchups in these places, and then the jungler is supposed to be able to make use of the fact that you have winning matchups in those places. I mean, tank versus tank matchup. Okay, after 10 minutes, we're gonna see this CS lead from the player who knows how to trade better in general. And then what's gonna happen is that they'll take turns to push in the wave, and they'll exchange turns to roam around the map as well. And then if you have the stronger control of the lane, then you'll be able to push I think twice every 4 waves or something, and then your opponent will be able to push once 4 or 5 waves. Yeah, I don't know. This war just looks so lost. It's tank versus tank match of the top lane. You go in, you kill Crixus, you make the Maokai trees, so that does nothing. That does absolutely nothing for the team right now. Like you just want to farm and try to win the farm while we can do in Kha'Zix so that whoever gets high can heal or perhaps relieve pressure to the lane. This is where Jace is kind of really gets strong when he gets level 9, gets 5 points in the queue. With the first blue buff as well. But I think IMP, they're not going to really make use of that. I mean, it is a very strong timing for the mid and jungle at this point of time. So maybe you just ward around the mid lane, cover for that. Okay, the setup was pretty interesting. Wait, what's the call being done over here? They say, okay, top lane we push priority, go around the jungle, let's go for a dive from mid, and Zenka's also on the sides. I would think it's a division on the left side of the map, so he's playing to that, that's correct. Pretty sure they should be able to get away from this on Scorpion. Is Arika going too early? Okay, can they get this to be going in with the mid wave? This is the call, this is the call. Okay, so this is where the call is. They have to wave over here, they get a push in. Jace clears the wave. Okay, let's see if there's a replay of that later. Okay, here's a replay. Chases him down. Oh, he could wait. He could wait. He could have waited. I mean, these kind of things is like you have the Warwick, which has got a lot of sustain. You have the Maokai that is tank and can disengage, pull away from the aggro instantly of the W. Why? Why? He comes in over here. Doesn't need to take the target. 1 shot. 2 shots. Okay, even then, he can back off to the left side. Oh, he doesn't even see the Kha'Zix coming. Yeah, I was looking at the left side already. Oh. I mean, it's just very messy. Just so messy. Just go in there. I'm pretty sure Warwick and Maokai they do something on him as well. That's a very clean kill. It's very bad. And they lose to Harold because of that as well. I mean, this is you're making use of your leads. You're making use of the fact that okay, Maokai is in the top side of the map. Let's try to rotate off the mid and try to make something happen. You don't coordinate it properly, and then this happens. Yeah, I kind of like this from IMP. Like, this is where the Jace is strong, this is where Kha'Zix is strong. Why not spike on the Jace? Group up together, see if we can make something happen. Burst somebody down, fold up the Kha'Zix damage. But it's the same thing going back to the draft. It's like, okay, Kha'Zix Jace is okay. It's okay. It's not like terrible, but if you have something like Syndra, Talia, something that has some form of CC. I guess Talia is not like fantastic either, but Talia is just a very sick champion in general. She has got such sick push power. Why would you TP here? Okay, you have to push advantage top. Your wards are in such an awkward position. And then you have no crowd control to follow up. You can't keep them. Oh goodness. Oh. I mean both teams are so low on their ability to like CC people down and keep them in the place, other than the top laners in this case. Yeah, you blow the TP, you 4v5 and okay. That's all you get. There's no dragon thing. Your ball lane is pushed out. Mid lane is still very risky to push at this point in time. You're blowing the TP to get one kill. And you're not creating leads for anyone, you're selling yourself behind. So initially what was a CS lead and what I think was a slight EXP lead for Shinsekai, and then roam twice, roam once, teleported once, and that's all gone. Like, I think like TPs in general, you really want to plan it out. It's almost purely an offensive kind of thing where you want to say, okay, this is the setup, this is where we're going to TP, then you set up a death trap, you go in there, people go into the trap, you have the TP from behind, and then you get a big flank in. Not these kind of very all over the place, oh okay, there's a fight breaking out, I'm going to TP, and it's sometimes it works, but 80% of the time it just gives me cancer when I see these kind of TPs. Okay. First big problem, Ice Destiny jumping on it. I'm not really sure. It's like, I hope he's lagging or something. He's just like, I hope Zenkasil's lagging, and then hoping he gets a kill out of all of that. You want Maokai to be the primary engage, he almost 100% has to be the primary engage. From here, I mean, you want Maokai to be the primary engage, he almost 100% has to flank. You send him from the front, he ons the ulti, okay, everybody walks back and then laughs at you, and then what? Okay, wait, where's the referral? No, it's on the referral top already. Okay, so they took the ball and all of that in the end. Did they get something out of there, I guess? Did they? Oh, okay, so they get a push in, they chunk, they done this sort of fight, then they put force on the bot lane. In exchange, they lose a lot of things topside, then all they're getting is first break goal. And they're losing like map pressure everywhere else. Victor's still in there. Okay, now that we know, okay, there's one kill and a third that they got from this TP. I just still think that this just wasn't a good idea in general. I mean, if Dante survives that, they can hold the turret. They hold the turret as well. I mean, I don't like to look at things from a results perspective. Like, if that was a bad TP, that just is a bad TP in general. You have to start Lulu in general, the bot lane. You should have to push priority. You should be able to take that turret 2v2 against Jinx channel. Just want to allocate Warwick priority bottom, and if that was how they want to achieve it, there's so much better ways to my goodness, what the hell is happening? Oh, they're just trying to siege your turret. There's no setup, there's no vision. Your mid lane's getting pushed in. So the first TP play bot is like you lose your you use the summon spell, and then you push top in this manner, you get solo kill top lane, your jungle gets solo kill top lane. Then it just dies as well. This is kind of a disaster for SVR at this point of time. Like I feel that this first 15 minutes of the game, this Warwick is a very big culprit. I'm just gonna go back to he even went skirmishing Saber. Oh, okay, that's he just wants to out duel the Kazakhs in this case, and that's how much he's committing to it, even going rate spike in this case. Like what Warwick really wants to do, if they want to say that, okay, let's take the tempo of the game fast, and that might be why they went for the TP. It's like, okay, we really need to do something now. We want to take advantage of the game. Play to the bot side. You have the winning lane bot. Just cover for the bot lane, let them win the 2v2 lane, and if the Kha'Zix tries to come in, then you counter engage with your ulti. That's just how you want to play it. Because the only way they set up for gank in the bot lane is Zenkaso comes in right for the flank, then maybe Kanko goes up with Flash Monsoon or something like that, and then CC all down. Kha'Zix that's where Warwick excels, and you win the 3v3. You just need to cover for the bot lane, get the vision down the bottom side of the map, tell him that okay, your Kha'Zix can do whatever he wants. He can have free reign completely off the top side of the map. I'll split map with you, I'll farm my side, you farm your side. Even if the Kha'Zix farm slightly faster, it doesn't matter, because they're gonna get a lead. Lulu and Janna, they have the Tristana into the Jinx. They have the Q pressure as well, and then if the Jinx or Janna take a bad trade or whatsoever, suddenly you're in a great position to make something happen bot lane. But he goes to the top lane, tries to make things happen. Just ends up playing just so all over the place, and they try to rotate mid and kill mid. You're just playing 3 skilling champions all across the board. Like if Shinsekai has a lead, he can actually just pressure mid on himself, and rotating Ice Destiny is a little bit unnecessary. You do get like that rotation option to go mid in this case, and then the Victor can get pressure on the Jace. But what we need to see is that they can just be very strong responses in general. That Sejuani can DP down as well. You do that once, you build a TP, then maybe you want to focus bots out again. But in that case, it's just too complicated. The vision setup just takes too much time. Itemization is an issue as well. This is just if you're gonna go for skirmishing Saber, your mid lane has to pick up the stack very early on. He cannot get blue trinket this early because he's gonna be walking with you into the jungle and dropping down wards together with you. More raid wards as well. And then the support needs the support didn't even get sidestone. Support doesn't have sidestone, and jungler didn't go oh my goodness. Lulu doesn't have sidestone. Holy shit. I'm just so tilted right now just watching this. It just feels like they went there for a competition and said, okay, I feel like playing this today. And then the coach said, oh, okay, cool with that, let's just run it. And then they didn't even think about how these champions come together, how they're supposed to interact, what's the plan, what's the early game, how they're going to set things up with the optimization, and what each player's responsibility is going to be. And on the other side for IMP, it's a very simple team counterplay. There's not a lot of shenanigans this game, but we scale the late game and then we see how things go from there. And things check out on the side. They don't have to do a lot. In fact, they just need to do kind of nothing, and then just put the owners on SVR. Because they feel that we have the advantages over there, and that you're going to play pure team fighting because you drafted a tank and you drafted something that's a pseudo tank. It's a bruiser, I guess. I'm going to call it bruiser in the form of Warwick. So you're not going to have this very insane stick push pressure. And then it's just tank versus tank. We have the Jace, we outpoke you guys. We can itemize all armor. Wow. Wow. Very. Okay, this is why you need a plan. You need to sit down before the game and say that this is the overall plan that we're gonna go with. Draw the timeline and say minute 1 to minute 15. This is what we're gonna play. I mean, there are a lot of coaches out there, a lot of people have different ideas of how to play the game, but as a Singaporean team where you have limited time and you have limited ability to get in practice, in my opinion, is the best way to do things. You sit things down and then say, okay, this is our team identity, this is how we're gonna play in general, and then we find replacement champions. So things like Victor, replace it with Azir or Rihanna, mages in the mid lane, Syndra is everything, she's a mage assassin, everything. And then you wanna play a scaling AD carry, we're gonna play a split push AD carry, Tristana Twitch, or you just go full with the Tristana Sivir, Jinx, this kind if you wanna go for the scaling AD carry. Jungler, something that can keep your opponents over there. Jarvan, Gragas, Warwick, kind of that class of category. Sejuani, a very strong champion to have to function in their role as well. And then you think about it, okay, these are the pieces you want, and then you can play these kind of tank junglers, but when you're in the mid lane, you need something that can push out. So you want to be probably last picking for mid lane, or playing something that they're very comfortable playing. And in this case, it's just all over the place. They just play whatever they're comfortable with, whatever they feel like playing, and it's a tragedy to watch. It is a tragedy. A lot of people look at the gameplay draft and say, "Oh yeah, the gameplay draft is just so bad. They deserve to lose that." This game one draft is definitely not as terrible, but it's bad as well. Okay, I'm gonna skip forward to about. I'm just gonna start skipping forward because I don't think there's really much to discuss. It's just very passive gameplay from both sides, and both teams making those same kind of mistakes. Like the wall jumps in, and then they overextend the team fight where they don't have enough CC. Huh. Yeah, the Kha'Zix Jace is kind of strong. And then this is where is the other thing around. Like IMP, they don't have like the best draft ever. I felt that the Kha'Zix should be a different champion over here, but it's still an okay pick to go because you still have options to do it with, and because you have few options, he's still able to identify them. And he plays to those options, and that's effective League of Legends. You have options, you take them. Do things that you can do. So at this point of time, if SVR coordinated the things better, they would be in the lead right now. But they kind of like dropped the ball in every front. Two dragons with IMP, 2,000 gold. Like if you want to go raise smite, play Talia, play Galio, these kind of things. Things like a full up when you raise smite. Like you go Warwick, you go. I guess Warwick does go raise smite because it interacts very well with his ulti. But that's not what the team needs. He's just thinking about the duel and the champions combo potential. This Warwick better be split pushing later on. I mean, if they picked him to be a split pusher, I could see where this goes. And it's the same thing what I said about Zekers was not there. So scaling versus scaling, okay, we pick the winning split push. And then we see the Maokai group of the team function as a secondary jungler, and then the Warwick's gonna split push in the silence. Then he does FTP. Does he ever do that? Does he ever do that? Warwick with the team, Warwick with the team, Warwick with the team, Warwick from jungle. Grouping, trying to find a way. Okay, Baron has spawned, 23 minutes in. Wait, IMP at map control. I guess that's gonna be the case. Like, you're not gonna be pushing in the silence. The Sejuani, she got a whole bunch of kills, she gets. I'm just gonna see even in Maokai. Side lanes. How did they get us vision? How did IMP lose Baron? I mean, this was just well played by IMP. So okay, they map control, and we know our opponents are playing a little bit all over the place. They aren't. The lack of the warding. Oh my goodness! Once again, it comes back to the warding smite. Okay, I'm just lagging right now. Come, don't die on me. Okay, let's wait for this to happen. Technical difficulties. Trying to record on the potato of the computer. Okay, we're back here. How did I get out of this vision? So he finding a side stone. He goes in there. There are fatal opponents camping. Where's Victor in all of this? Victor's walking from base. Okay, warding drills. Warding drills. What you want to do? 1-3-1. First thing first, 1-3-1. Make sure that you're pushing the top lane, pushing the mid lane, and then pushing the bot. You want the best case scenario is if you can push all 3 lanes. Naturally, neutral objective control is going to be yours. The other way is that, okay, at this point of time, there's a very strong chance of opponent doing Baron, and we really need to check it right now. What first thing you do? Group 4 man, group 5 man. If you have TP, push in the mid lane as 4 people, and then 4 people walk by the river path. Walk by the river path over here into the Baron pit, and then you go in there, and then you ward. You don't ward first, and then you push out the wave, and then okay, now say I have no wards and I need to recall. Very bad warding drill from SVR, and IMP punishes accordingly. Okay, team fight breakdown. How is this supposed to happen? What's Kha'Zix doing? I think he's giving back some Maokai. Maokai brought Righteous Glory. Yeah, making use of the Baron buff. Why do we need Monsoon there? That was just a very nice team. Like Janna is just his one job. Just make sure they can disengage away. Don't think about like saving these kind of teammates. Like Kha'Zix is in a bad position. That's his fault for being in that position. I mean, they focus on him. You get the turret. It's not good to lose somebody in that case. Like Monsoon forward, you flash forward like that, you're gonna die as well. But stay down there and make sure that when the Warwick comes in, he can't full out with anything. The 3-star tries to come in with the reset, you can't do anything as well. Just shut down the reset potential. Because they only have 1 CC. That's Shinsekai. The moment the Maokai uses his CC, then the Janna has to tornado and everything up. They can't do anything else. What happened? They overstaying. Yeah, no ultimates on the side of SVR. Okay, so all this started. I think at this point in time, they have the Baron, they have the skills. Do they take the hit here? Yeah, they take the hit here as well. Then the game is completely in IMP's control right now. It's a team fighting comp against team fighting comp. They have the Jace, they have the poke advantage, and they have the map control at this point of time. How did this map control happen? First, very bad warding drills coming from SVR. From their lane locations to saying, okay, this is how we're gonna set up the map, this is how we're going to control the Baron pit. They need to understand how to do these kind of things. And these kind of things need to be drilled. Like, things you don't get to do in solo queue, things like even when you push the lane, how to position accordingly. When you overstay here, is there any way they could one hit him as a 5-3 after all? They're low. They get chunked down by this. I mean, those are some very good shot class. But SVR is just running the meat grinder right now. They're just running the meat grinder. They've got no way to really. They've just got so little ways to punish their opponents. It's a jinx, it's a jace. They just stand from far, poking up. Oh, somebody's low. Throw the super mega death rocket. The jace is just such a pain in the ass to do with from SVR standpoint. The range is so long. Oh. Acceleration gets shock blast. They can't do anything to him except for get the marker to flank. He's going to TP. He's reused his ultimate the first time around. So once the ultimate is down, they take the turret. They've got no business doing the second one. Like, you really need to understand your team composition. If you're playing like Elise, you're playing RB, those kind of things, okay, your catch potential, engage potential comes on the E. It's a very low cooldown thing. 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Try again. Then you get it once, okay, that's the turret down. You don't get it, never mind. You cycle a few times. But in this case, it's so ultimate reliant. You need the Warwick ultimate, you need the Maokai ultimate. You use it once, you win the fight, you take one objective, and you back off, and then you don't get greedy. Because you go for a second objective, you're going to get poked down by the Jace and the Jinx. I don't think there's any more point watching this game. Okay, let's go on to game number 2. I think that is going to be a very short review as well. We just take a look at the draft, and then I'll just shit talk them for having a crap draft. This is the infamous one. This is the infamous one. So the first draft was low on CC. Okay, the first draft was low on crowd control. Like I said, the only way to get things in is with teleport flank. And if you want to get a teleport flank, you need either very creative jungle parting for that to happen, and then you need a jungle that can circumvent walls to make that happen. You want to play something like Rek'Sai, you want to play something like Lee Sin, you want to play something like Graves that can jump over walls, Kha'Zix that can jump over walls and then place wards behind your opponent's back behind your opponent's line of vision so you can get those TP flanks. If you play the Warwick, you're never going to do that. And then it's just about the Maokai having push advantage. They have Shinzakane, he did have push advantage at the earlier parts of the game. And then when you use the ultimate, you have to realize that you need to back off. Second thing, warding drills, not in position. These are basic League of Legends 1-1 at a competitive level. It's not something that you get to practice, and so you really need to sit down and look at it. Okay, this is our warding drill. This is what we need to do. And then things like what the itemization was, how Ice Dynasty should have played in the early stages of the game. Just let Tristana Lulu make use of the fact that they have to bully in bottom and then have to get the spell to use edge as well. Hit the turret with the way the turret. Try to use that to create some tempo advantage for themselves and get some form of map control. Doing things like a lane swap as well, about 10 minutes with Tristana. That's what people pick the Tristana for. The lane swap catches people off guard in general. They didn't go for that. I mean, this is something that I've been very critical of Maxi since the VTL days. He's always very adamant, I want to fight the 2v2. Lane swappings for cowards. Let's fight the 2v2, even if he's behind. It's like, I can outplay him, I can outduel him. It's a lot of faith in himself, but that's not what the team composition needs. Okay, this draft. Let's talk about win conditions once again. Okay, so IMP Jinx every game. Every game they go for the Jinx, and as you should know this way. So you go for the Caitlyn. Why is Caitlyn so strong? In general, in a meta where people are playing like Ashe, Jhin, and then when the Runan's Hurricane, the traps are very strong, Caitlyn is king in that meta. But you're up against a team that plays something that scales harder than the Caitlyn. They're playing the Jinx in this case. Is Caitlyn still the king of the late game? Not that Jinx is in the picture. She also has the same range as you with the rockets. The rockets do bonus damage, they do AoE damage, and the living phase isn't necessary. Is probably the only place where you say, okay, I have an advantage for this champion. She brings more things to the mid game with the rocket, with the Zap, and whereas Caitlyn just sits down there and puts traps down. So Caitlyn Janna, Janna this early on, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it in general. Like, they want the statue for Infinity. They feel that okay, maybe Kenko's not so good on this champions. Try to put him on something that requires a little bit more mechanical skill. Take the Janna away from him. And I think that is still kind of okay, but you have to realize that Janna functions like a Tahm Kench, like a Braum. Like you play this and says, okay, bot lane, the jungler's never gonna go there. You're just gonna play that, you win the trades, and then if you really have a very strong winning lane, then maybe what they can do is function like the Lulu Tristana, have the jungle cover for them, and then just let them whittle down the opponent's turret and auto down the opponent's turret. But they go for Caitlyn Janna into what you know is going to be a Jinx, where Caitlyn, I'm not too sure about this. I haven't seen Jinx in the competitive game for like forever. From what I know is that she has rocket mode, so she can kind of trade with the Caitlyn in general, and even if the Caitlyn Janna tries to push them in, they use the Janna shield to get the push priority. In this case, they go for the trash. Then they get the Q priority in the bot lane. The Caitlyn Janna left to get anxious while pushing out too hard. And worst comes to worst, Jinx rockets down the wave. So it's not something that you pick these two champions and you really want to attack through bot lane. You go for like Karma Caitlyn, you go for like Zyra Caitlyn, that's something that is aggressive, gives you say that okay, this is how we're going to win the game. Which is not a very good way to play in this current meta where people are playing all these tanks and they can hit this mid game spike and then just roll all over the Caitlyn. Not really a fan of Caitlyn in this meta. She just, her mid game is so weak. The tanks just see her and they're hey, looks Caitlyn. Laugh at her and then run into her for a CC. Like you get to bully, you're strong in the first 15 minutes of the game, you're strong at 30 minutes. But 15 to 30 minutes, that's going to be the worst 15 minutes of gameplay time as a Caitlyn. Because that's when the tanks are really strong and that's where Caitlyn really sucks balls. And that's what IMP has in this case. They went for the choke out first, they pick up the Sejuani alongside that, and you're still playing the Caitlyn. Then they have the Janna. The bot lane isn't really going to do anything. Then they pick the Rek'Sai to go alongside that. So Rek'Sai I think is a pretty strong jungler in this meta. And then you pick a Rek'Sai in this case, right? What do you want to do? So now, if you're down there, you realize that Caitlyn Janna, okay, that's not going to Caitlyn. I just said Caitlyn Janna. Janna and Caitlyn. Janna and Caitlyn. That's a bot lane that isn't going to be making a lot of headway. So you want a lane, or at least two lanes, to be able to really create pressure. So you have a lane that says, okay, I can ignore this. I picked this early, and then now you can have the potential to counter pick in two positions. And the story goes that the coach Leonard felt that they didn't really need to ban something here against IMP, whereas if in this case you definitely want to ban something over here, because you want to ban two things. In if you want to first pick your top laner, you want to ban two top laners and then pick the top laner. If like let's say you're playing Renekton, then you ban Poppy, you ban what beats Renekton? You ban Poppy Jax, something like that, and then you go for Renekton. But whatever your opponent's champion pool is relevant to him. You can ban Sejuani in this case, and then you go for something else. So Rumble is a pick that you select, and if you counter pick with it and you pick it into say a bruiser, then yes, it functions like an AEP bruiser of sorts because it's got very strong carry potential and very strong kill potential when it goes up against the likes of say Camille, Fiora, Jax. But if your opponents go for things like tanks, then Rumble is very good to be a tank lane. So, tank lane in the sense that he just absorbs pressure and that you will see the opponent's tank, the opponent's jungler will come out, and then it says, okay, even if you kill me, I'm going to out-clear the wave, and then our own jungler will be doing things on the other side of the map. But already you've picked so-called no offensive pressure bot lane. They go for the Rumble in this case. The opponent showed Sejuani the previous game, so he's in fact they have the Cho'Gath as well, and they can go for that as well. All that's going to happen is their Rumble will have push priority at most, and then he's going to be able to rotate mid. So over here, then this is where they find themselves in a very odd situation because they want to be playing an assassin over here, and then they realize the rest of the team has got zero crowd control. How to avoid this? Like if you follow this step, this thought process, okay, we pick something that can just absorb pressure in the bottom lane, and then we pick a top laner that has got very strong push priority. Shinsekai is really good on the Rumble as well, and then we play the right side that can help him enforce that. Then you play top mid. The jungles can split map, the opponent play top mid this game. And then let the Rumble rotate down. Then you want to be playing one of the in the middle position, you want to be playing Jace, you want to be playing something with crowd control. Sorry, you want to be playing something that, I guess, an AD champion that can follow up on that. Maybe they should just go on Orianna in this case. Like Orianna Caitlyn would be so good here. Is that Banner? That's not the Banner. They went Illusion over here. So they went with the AD assassin idea. You want to Rumble, rotate down, and make something happen with them. And that's the only way they're going to win this game. Because the moment this reaches the mid and later stages of the game, you get outskilled. Your opponent has got Jace, same thing, they're going to outpoke you. Split push wise, I guess, like the Rumble's going to see his champions and it's going to be kind of even. In fact, he has to be wary of the tanks later on, I guess. Actually, I'm not too sure what this is. I think it's kind of even. If the Rumble gets far enough, he can have the split push priority. But you need the jungle. He has the jungle set for that as well. Play a top lane centric game. See what we can make happen with Rumble. In mid lane. Mid lane Lucian. It's quite a bad choice. I mean, everyone was saying like, okay, this was a very bad choice to go Lucian in the mid lane. I'm actually thinking Orianna, then you just play purely defensive. But then in that case, you still get outskilled, and it's the same problem as the first draft. But you at least can have ways to take team fights, you have ways to check brushes, you have ways to pressure opponents when you're going for objectives. You go for the Lucian, maybe Zed will work just better. At least that was the push pressure. But even then, the Zed, you're going Zed against double tanks. Like your opponents have gone double tanks already, and they have to trash. You go on assassin here. I'm trying to think from Sovereign's position. If I want to steal Jenna away, how different is this draft going to be? Do I just go like Jenna, Caitlyn, and then Valkyrie's banned? Rek'Sai is okay, I guess. Gragas is banned, Zac is banned. Jenna, Caitlyn, I guess Rek'Sai is probably the best option here. But you go Rek'Sai against the tank junglers, which is what IMP is going to go for here. You're going to get outskilled. I think Caitlyn Jenna is like where we just make this very big. This thing, I mean, if this was like against some random team, you have no idea what they play and stuff like that, and I think it's fair for you to say, okay, Caitlyn Jenna, then that's going to be, oh, you're surprised by the Jinx. But you know your opponent's play Jinx and you just first pick the Caitlyn Jenna on the first rotation. Are they overvaluing it? At least go for silver or something, or just go for your jungler. And I mean, if they go Caitlyn, it's still okay, I guess. If they go Caitlyn Rek'Sai, then pick the support later on. Opponents go Jenna, then the Jenna Jinx. Tristana would be the A-tier choice in my opinion. Then if they go Zero, which is a decent matchup into Tristana. At least you can play the side lanes, but you would need to have that plan. Like how to play side lanes with the Fnatic style with the split push and Tristana. Then she can go Blade. But split pushing is a very effective way to play against these double tank comps. Because double tank comps, they want to group as 5 and then run around the map like a death roll. Then you want to play a split pushing AD carry, you put them apart around the map, you have something like clear the waves, and then the Tristana is there just power farming, power leveling, and then she's quite a menace to deal with. She catches somebody out, jumps on them, and then the Shen together comes down together with her. Not a fan of Jenna. I think over prioritizing the Caitlyn over here. After that, same thing. I'm honestly a fan of Red last picking top lane in this meta game because the draft is still not lost yet until like the Caitlyn Jenna is not the best pick, but it's like okay, possible. First half of the draft is possible. Like I think the first half of the draft in the first game was good. This first half of the draft in the second game is okay. It's not good, it's not fantastic, it's just okay. Like the Lulu Tristana, and then you have the Maokai, very strong pick in this game. First game, Lulu Tristana, you're going to win the lane, and you have got to wait to make use of that. Already the win conditions coming together. It's the second part where they dropped the ball in the first game. This game, Caitlyn Jenner. So the first half not as good, and then the second half disastrous. They picked the Rumble. So blind pick Rumble somehow, which is not what you want to do on raid side. You want to blind pick Rumble if your bot lane is something like you can crush lane in this. I'm picking the Rumble to just absorb pressure over here. So now you've got two lanes that are just absorbing pressure. You pick Rumble here, the opponents go Clad, and then it's like, okay, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do now. And then last picking illusion. They should have picked the mid lane first. Go Syndra, go for just take the Jace themselves. They should just have use of the ban the Jace. They should have picked mid lane Syndra. Talia's not available in this game. Pick the Syndra, pick the Corki. I think they do very well against what they have. Very is immobile AD carry, Syndra, very good champion. Once again, Corki gives you the split push win condition. It does a lot of damage as well. Cassiopeia as well, very good blind pick. Just pick, but so many good blind picks in the mid lane. I can't know your opponent's gonna go for the Jace. Go for Corki, go for Syndra. All very decent options over here. The last pick. Like the thing that kind of frustrated me watching this series is that the quarterfinals that we played, Shizukai played Jace, he played Renekton, he played Camille. Very, very impressive performance on this champion. So I give mobile AD carry as well. Okay, they have a trash though, so maybe they don't want Renekton over here. But you have Rek'Sai, you can just go Renekton over here. Such a sick setup. Sort of 80 damage in the tanks. Then you have 380 damage. Sources. It's very easy for everyone to itemize this one. Yeah, just pick out the mid lane. There's so many good blind picks on mid lane. Talia, Camille, Corki, and go for the Galley over here is really decent. What else can we blind pick there? Cassiopeia, Syndra, Oriana. And then you lost top lane. Then you pick a carry option where you pick the Gnar, you pick the Camille, you pick the Kled. Kled, very good against double tank comps. Very, very good against double tank comps. So they can't kill him. They can't kill the Kled. Force of the horse. It's like, oh, throw everything at Kled, throw everything at Kled. Then, oh wait, we should really throw everything at Kled. You just chop somebody up. And then gets back the horse. Gets back Scarl. Okay, so how does SVR win this game? Rek'Sai focus top side, get the Rumble to keep rotating mid lane, and then try to snowball from the mid lane. Focus mid, focus top, play top and mid. Did that happen? Or is this going to be an what is Ice doing kind of game? Okay, level 1, so what's the level 1 going to be if I can spread? Oh. Okay, Rek'Sai's going to puff down. Oh, you're killing Janna against trash. Help him stop the blue buff. Then puffed up. Gonna be putting pressure on opponents ASAP. Your Rek'Sai against Cho'Gath. You have the Lucian in the mid lane, you can invade him on that side. Go whatever laning stuff there, no one cares. Just talk about jungle potting. Huh. Raptors raid wolves. Then does crab? No. There's only one making noise, it's a myth. Can we just go for the Grom and go to Cho'Gath at this point? I think Rek'Sai just wins duels. Rumble's pushing, Lucian's pushing, just go invade him. I mean, that's the thing I think people have to realize about tank junglers because they will use their spells on the camps and then you can make use of the fact to really punish them when you invade them. Come with jungle. Like over this kind of parting is very good. You're like losing all the time just walking back and forth. He could have just done Blue, Wolves, Raid, Crab, Rom. And then Zenka says, oh, okay, that's a Rex over here. This Johnny can loop around because she's getting pushed by the Rumble. And then what's going to happen is the Jace has to come over, the Sejuani has to come over. They drop very valuable EXP. Rumble hits 6 first. Your Lucian is going to get the level advantage first. And then because you're Rek'Sai, you can escape very easily away from that. Because you would know that the Cho'Gath has used the Stomp already. And then just by invading, you get leads in your lane. You just get leads in your lane just by doing that. And now he's invading over here. I have no idea what he's doing. What is he thinking? Base recall, get the Warding Smite, and reward ASAP. Let's have it go for it. Let's go for second scout. This one is so weird because you do the parting and then now like your camp is scattered all over the place. You do get 2 scout curves with that though. He's gonna try for Crocs, he knows that his opponent has like Crocs. You press that, he will see that okay. Cho'Gath hasn't shown the map yet. This is why you want to go for the invade on the top side of the map. You go in there and check, okay, these are the camps you've done. You can continue pressure. Only jump. Bases buys boosted their rate smite. I think it's okay. Actually, I feel the rate smite is just so important. Sorry, not the rate smite. The rate ward. The rate ward so important. So important for the Rek'Sai. So you can just dump it in the Pixel Brush here. Dump it in the Pixel Brush here. Then you get there on top a lot of pressure and a lot of rotation priority. Yeah, and because of the early piling now, he's a level behind. When he's a level behind, he can't invade. Oh, you need this. This makes me upset when I see junglers do these kind of things. This is things you don't need scrims to practice. You just watch competitive games, look at people's jungle parting, and you say this is how people jungle in general. These are the partings that they take. You do this as an exercise. Look at the competitive game. This is my 5 champions. There are 5 champions. How do I win the game over here? What's my role as a jungler? How do I want to play over here? And then you plan it out. The first 10 minutes of the game are quite dead as a jungler. Like where you can gank and these kind of things is things that you should know. Things happen in the game, and the laning phase is a very big portion of it. You should know where you have to push. You should know where you can invade, what the timing is going to be like, and the moment you go into the game, you just communicate with the team. This is the parting I'm going to take. You push here, then this side of the map, you guys don't do anything, survive. They control these kind of things, not be all over the place. Like what Ice's team really wants to control top mid, help the Rumble get the advantage, enforce his pushing power, pressure against the Sejuani, make the Sejuani feel really awful in the top lane, and then keep rotating down. Because like Rumble is so good against tank champions in general. He's always gonna push them in. The only thing he needs is like cover because he's afraid of ganks. Okay, so he does go over to the top side of the map eventually. Crap! I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so this is where first base comes out again. Pops down, sees Ankazor, can't do anything, goes back to his own jungle, goes back to the top side. Tries to go mid, can't do anything mid. Shouldn't even have gone mid. Like, okay, Lucian's pushing, you're never gonna get anything over there. Just go top ASAP. Yeah, it's such a good duo right now. You should just done this from the start. You don't need a tunnel in though. You just go in there the first time and then you just stick with Zenkazar and have Lucian come over. During all this time, Havlix is dropping minions. And you're getting a lead for a lane. Havlix is not eating this huge wave here. And then because you use the E, you can't you can't stay. Bowling is right. Zenkazar stack. Zenkazar stack. So right now, rotations Rumble is made to the mid lane 0. Oh, this entire line he's been pushing up top lane. Rotations is mid to mid lane 0. Why? No rate what? From any of them, they didn't buy a single rate one. The priority SVR wants to do first base, go and buy rate what? Light up the river. Light up topside river. And then make that happen. And then they go for a lean over here. Into the Citrani. No CC. They should get this, right? Yeah, they do get this. Okay. When do you lane swap? Let's talk about lane swaps. When do you lane swap and how do you lane swap? You lane swap when you recall earlier than your opponent. When you do get an earlier recall than your opponent, then you can lane swap. So you have to push priority and tempo foundation. Second condition you need is that your top lane needs the wave control. And what you want to do is that you have the wave control together with your top laner, and then you have to rumble big one build wave, build a big wave, and then you rotate with the cannon minimum wave, and then rotate top. What is the cannon minimum wave? 7:30, 9 minutes. First things first, SVR, if they wanted to get a recall first on the bottom lane, they needed to coordinate everything better so that they can rotate down the middle with the cannon there, so that the moment they get this kill and have Shinsekai start stacking the wave. But I think it's a rumble you can't really stack the wave. Like, imagine if they did this 30 seconds there, then there's a cannon minute here, then maybe 2 range minutes or something now. The second thing is don't let your opponent touch the wave. The middle wave is so important for you to take the turret. Does IMP even get the first break off this? I'm not surprised if they do. Like, all the conditions were correct in IMP's favor. Like, Crixus got 5 out of 6 minutes in the top lane wave. It's super worth it for him. He dies, whatever, 200 gold, that bunch of EXP, Shaman's 4 people. Then at this point of time, SVR drops 2 entire waves and bombs out the map. So, Warden Drill is not in place, lane swap Drill not in place. I have no idea what SVR is practicing in screens. So they split map and then okay, yeah, now we need to go back to the bombs out the map. Once again, 30 seconds earlier, 10 minutes, Rift Herald spawns. Oh, now they swap back to the bombs out of the map, and then now where is IP going to go? To the top side of the map where the Rift Heralds. No, they put Caitlyn Jenner in the mid lane. So number of times Rumble rotated to Lucian's lane 0. Then the moment they enter this 1-3 on face of the game, they lose. They straight up lose. Because now Rumble would never be able to rotate to Lucian's lane, the lane where they play this assassin pick that can make use of the 80 AP damage build pass from these two champions and make things happen. It's gonna rotate to the mid lane. So Jace over there says Caitlyn, Janna. Janna was just on the ulti, he's gonna throw the ulti down, and it's just 0 CC, it's just 0 Q threat. Just gonna farm. They didn't even get this. Yeah, then he finally gets it in. Pushes in the top wave. I think he did this push wrongly as well. He needed to push one down deeper. Push one down deeper, then finally they get a reward. So it's too little too late. They lane swap when they should have lane swap. But I think it's because the bot lane was completely getting wrecked as well. Like in the Tristana Lulu game, they need to lane swap because that's where they want to get priority, and they use the Tristana to get leads in the game. But now the only way they win this game is the Rumble Illusion setup. You swap, you enter this stage of the game where opponents are very strong. You put them in this 1-3-1 case. You're not gonna outpush them in the side lanes, and then in this case, Lucian just hasn't hit the spike where he's like, okay, I've got a Rune King and I can really outduel people on the map right now. IMP just doesn't care about the fact that they're split into 1-3-1. They're happy that SVR has gone 1-3-1 at this point of time. Yeah, this game doesn't need watching. Like I said, you reach the mid game, you reach the late game, you're not gonna win the push in the side lanes. You're not gonna win the team fights. You get outskilled. This game is over. So I think I kind of went ham on SVR this series, but they deserve it. Just looking at very poorly drilled, very poorly drafted, and it seems like they have no idea what they're doing. It's just very poorly coordinated all across the board. Ice Destiny is really quite a big villain. It's like first major villain is top lane. Second major villain is jungle. Then the third one is bot lane because they're just playing like arse this entire series. But whether they play better, they play worse, doesn't matter. That doesn't change the fact that your draw give you very bad options, and the jungle is not setting up for the win condition. These are the big problems that SVR had. Like in terms of you want to say who did right, who did wrong, and things like vision drills, lane swap drills not in place. Okay, that wraps it up. I mean, this was just okay. I mean, like, I hope Resurgence does well at GPR. That's what I'm gonna say. Like SVR was very disappointing.